Hello everyone, welcome back and thank you for watching. In today's video, I have my top 21 DIYs of 2021. Hello friends, so today for my floral topiary, it's a rose topiary. I will be using one of the Dollar Tree foam balls. I'm only using one to come in a pack. The next item from Dollar Tree I will be using is one of their clay pots. Right now they are on sale. Not on sale. Right now they are carrying them. But the one I'm using is from last year. I did paint it using the truffle paint from the brand Waverly. I'm also using a Dollar Tree dowel. And this is long, so I am going to cut about 2 inches off. For the roses, I'm using 2 of the Dollar Tree picks. I'm going to just remove all the roses off and the leaves. I am using the leaves as well. I'm going to add the roses here and there, but I'm using hot glue to secure them some more. Even after trying to spread them evenly, you can still see a lot of the white, but that is where I put the leaves. That is going to help it cover. Also, at the bottom where I'm going to add the stick, I didn't add a rose and I added leaves instead. And to be honest, you can't even tell. It's totally up to you if you want to do that, or you can just use 3 picks instead and fill the whole thing with roses instead of using the leaves. But I think it looks really pretty with the roses and the leaves. You gotta let me know down in the comment section, what do you think? Now I'm adding the leaves where you can see some of the white, and as you can see I am holding it from the bottom, and that is where I didn't add a rose. So I will be adding like 3 leaves down there, and to be honest you can't even tell. I'll show you in a minute. And this is where I added several of the leaves. So this will be the bottom. Once I turned it around, you're not going to be able to see them. So now I'm going to start working on the stand. And for the stand, like I said, I did use a clay pot. This comes from Dollar Tree to come in a pack. I am reusing mine. And I did paint that in the color truffle from the brand Waverly. I am also using leftover floral foams, and I'm going to just fill in the pot using all of those. As you can see, they do come in handy. I like saving these because you just never know. Once I am done filling that in, I'm going to add a whole bunch of glue and then add the dowel. As you can see, I did reuse the foam, so that's why it has a hole. And I ended up adding some more for it to stand up straight and don't move because of the other hole it had there. Now it's time to add the rose ball to the dowel. And I am using some hot glue to glue it. And I did push the ball inside, like maybe half of it into the ball. As you can see, some of the leaves are falling. That is because I didn't add some hot glue to those. But I did go back and add some hot glue. And for the stand, I'm using some pebbles to cover the foam. To decorate this some more, I'm going to use this beautiful ribbon that I picked up from Dollar Tree. I'm going to make double bows and add them to the pot. And that is it for this rose topiary. I think it turned out beautiful and it is perfect for this Valentine's. You can use this as a decor or even as a gift. For the heart sign, I will be using this Dollar Tree decor sign, a heart-shaped decor. This is from Dollar Tree as well. Some ribbon, the one I'm using is from Michael's, but Dollar Tree carries similar one. Some greenery, this is from Walmart, and the beads are from Amazon. The size is 20 mm. I'm going to start off by painting the sign, and I'm using some chalk paint. I am going to water it down just a tiny bit. I'm going for a whitewash stained look, so I am going to paint this and leave some of the brown peeking through. I'm going to set this aside and let it dry. Now I will be working on this heart-shaped decor sign, and I am going to remove the sticker because I am going to use the back. I think it's easier than me trying to remove all the glitter from the front. So I'm going to paint this using some chalk paint. Once they're both dry, I'm going to glue the heart to my sign, and I'm using a whole bunch of hot glue because this is pretty heavy and I want this to be able to stay. You can use E6000, so I'm going to put this in the lower bottom of my sign, and then I'm going to add some beads. I am using a total of 29 beads. To stain the beads, I will be putting them inside a Ziploc bag, and then I'm going to add a little bit of antique wax and a little bit of water, and then just move them around till the antique wax gets all over the beads. There's two ways you can glue the beads to the heart, one by one, or this way, which is I think easier. I will be putting all the beads on a string. Using hot glue, I'm going to glue the garland around the heart. What I did at the end was just tie it, and when I cut the string, you can see it a little bit, but I fixed up by just painting the string with the antique wax. To decorate this some more, I will be adding the greenery. I cut two stems off from the boxwood greenery pick that I got from Walmart. Then I tied them using some string in the middle, and on top of that I added a bow. The best thing about this sign is that you can use this all year round just by switching the bow. So now I'm going to add the word love on the side of the heart, and I will be using this Walmart stickers. If you have a Cricut, you can totally print out like a nice quote, and it will look so great on the heart. But since I don't, I'm using what I have. And that is it, guys. The last thing I did was just add some string so I can hang this. If you're in, meet me here tonight. Be brave and come along. I'll be... For the crate, I'm using two of these Dollar Tree decor signs. I'm going to remove the back piece, and that is because I do want to reuse the little welcome and bless sign. I'm using a knife to remove these. These are very easy to remove. I tried to remove the bless without removing the back, but as you can see, I was messing it up. So I just stopped and removed the back and then removed the bless. And you don't have to do this. The reason I did it was because I want to reuse the bless sign. But then again, you do need the bottom piece to be flat if you are going to add little florals or vases on this little crate. Now the next thing I did was remove these little, I think they're nails. I tried to not mess these up, so I did remove them carefully. I am going to use them. Then the next thing I did was put the back piece back, but I do recommend you doing it with the white being the bottom. You'll see white in a little bit. And I'm using E6000 hot glue and the nails, so like that is going to be nice and sturdy, because I am going to add clay pots and they are kind of heavy. Okay, to add the nails, as you can see, I do add a little bit of hot glue just so they can stand up straight and I don't have to be holding them and like that I won't hurt my fingers. And this is how it looks. Now to make this into a crate, I do need some little corners or something to put them together. So I'm using these little Dollar Tree blocks. I'm using 4 of them. And I'm going to try to paint them the same color as the frame. And I did use a mixture of black paint and some nutmeg from the Apple Barrel acrylic paint. And yeah, I did a little mixture until I almost got the same exact color. It's not the exact same, but it's close enough. And to glue the sides, I'm using a mixture of E6000 and hot glue.
There's no passion in the comatose. Baby going down, down, down. Baby going down, 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 down. Tried so hard to stay afloat. We keep moving like the river goes. Baby going down, down, down. Baby going down, 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 down. And I thought, it's time I'm letting you go.
I'm going to add something heavy and then I'm going to let it sit there and dry for a couple of hours. And look how beautiful this looks. I absolutely love this little crate. Now for the bottom, you can just leave it like that. If you're using like a wider pot, you don't need to do anything to the bottom. That will cover that. But since I'm using the Dollar Tree smaller little ones, you will be able to see the bottom. And this is where I was saying earlier to glue the back piece the other way around. For some reason, the paint wasn't sticking to this glossy white. I'm going to wipe the paint off and then just use this Hobby Lobby scrapbook paper to just cover that up. I'm using the back piece of the other frame to just trace it and cut it.
Time to sort out all the fights, to sort out all the lies. Oh baby, yeah. There was a part of me that knew that.
I'm using the regular Elmer's glue stick to glue this to the bottom. You can use Mod Podge if you want.
There's no passion in the comatose. Baby going down, 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 down. Baby going down, down.
And look how beautiful this turned out. Now I'm going to work what I'm going to use inside my little crate. Now from Dollar Tree, I will be using this pack of clay pots to come in this pack. I'm going to paint the pot using some white chalk paint. I am going to give this 2 coats of white paint so it can be nice and white. Now for the greenery, I will be using some eucalyptus from Walmart and some lavender. For the foam, I'm using a block from Dollar Tree and I'm going to cut it in half and then glue it inside the pot. This lavender is from Walmart. It cost me $1.47. Now this pick has 5 different stems. I am going to cut off 5 and I'm using 2 on each pot. To put these together, I'm going to start off by adding 3 of the little picks that I got from the eucalyptus picks. These are from Walmart. They were 97 cents. And then I'm going to add the 2 picks of the lavender, and I'm going to repeat the same thing to the other pot. And you can still see some of the floral foam, so I'm going to add some of these Dollar Tree pebbles.
Baby going down, down, down. Baby going down, 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 down. Tried so hard to stay afloat. We keep moving like the river goes. Baby going down, down, down. Baby going down, down.
The next thing I will be doing is adding some jute twine around the top part of the pot. To finish it off, I will be adding a bow I made out of this ribbon. This is a burlap ribbon and it didn't have these little polka dots. I did add it myself using some white paint and a tiny brush. A little hack is burn the tips if you don't want it to de-thread. And that is it for this little clay pots. I think they turned out beautiful and they look so beautiful inside the crate. For my next DIY, I will be using a Dollar Tree tag, and I'm using this Christmas. I still have some things left over from Christmas, but Dollar Tree carries so many different signs you can use instead. I am also using the little welcome sign that I removed from the little frame for my first DIY, and the last lavender stem from the little pick I got from Walmart. Now to start off, I'm going to remove the Noel. This is just because I thought I was gonna use it, but I ended up messing it up, so I didn't use this. And I am going to use the back of this sign, so I'm going to paint it using some white chalk paint. I did add a little bit of water to the sponge, and like that it made it more thinner, so now it's going to look more washed out. To make the wreath, I used this cutting board from Dollar Tree. You can use anything that is circle, even a plate can work. And I'm using a marker to just do circles, and as you can see, I do move the plate around so the circles are just overlapping. And this marker ended up fading out, so I ended up using a different brown marker. So there is going to be 2 shades of brown, which I think it made it look so much prettier. Now I'm going to add the lavender, and I ended up grabbing another stem from a different pick because I thought I was gonna have just enough with this one, and I didn't. But what you can do to make it look more fuller if you don't have more lavender is use some of the other greenery like I did. I did add some eucalyptus to both little picks. I'm going to tie these in the center using a piece of jute twine, and then I'm going to make a bow using the Dollar Tree polka dot burlap ribbon. And I also use a long piece of jute twine to tie the bow because I'm going to use it to tie the bow to the greenery. Before I glue this, I'm going to glue the welcome sign inside the wreath.
Can you feel me? Can you feel me?
I decided to use these Walmart beads because they do match the color of the crate. So I'm going to use 4 of them and make a little hook or hanger for the sign.
Can you feel me? Something in the air, always something in the air.
And that is it for this DIY. I think this turned out beautiful.
Inexplicable, I can feel it in the air. Can you feel me?
From Dollar Tree, I'm going to use one of their paper plate holders. 4 come in a pack, but I'm only using one. I'm going to use some Dollar Tree Nautical rope. I didn't have enough, so I ended up using the jute cord roll that you see here. That is from Ross, and it cost me $2.99. I'm going to start with flipping the plate around and start gluing the nautical rope all around the bottom.
We got everything we need right here. Wine and burning chemistry. You and me alone. You and me alone. Inside of our embassy. Everything we need right here. Make me sing along. Sing along. I never thought I'd ever be stuck by you. I never thought I'd ever be stuck by you. Oh, watch me dancing in the car.
I ran out of the Dollar Tree Nautical rope, so then I started to use the one from Ross.
Everything we need, right? Watch me dancing in the colors, lightning, blowing up a thunder, wash it over me, yeah. We got everything we need right here.
I thought of only doing the sides with a nautical rope, but then I decided to add a little bit more at the bottom.
Moonlight on your naked skin, summer's blind.
Once I was done at the bottom, I flipped it around and started doing it on the other side. And this is how it looks. It looks so pretty. Now I'm going to just finish this up.
I never thought I'd ever be stuck by you. I never thought I'd ever be stuck by you. Oh, watch me dancing in the colors, lightning, blowing up a thunder, wash it over me. We got everything we need, right? Watch me dancing in the colors, lightning, blowing up a thunder, wash it over me, yeah. We got.
And that is it for this tray. Now look how beautiful this looks. As you can see, I didn't finish adding some nautical rope all the way at the bottom. You totally can, but I decided not to since you won't be able to see it. Now the last thing I did do was just burn a little bit of the fuzzies using some lighter, and I also distressed it using the antique wax just to cover some of the glue. Moving on, I will be using the Nautical rope from the Dollar Tree. Now this one right here is like a beige color. They do carry two different colors, this one and the regular brown Nautical rope. Now I'm going to just make circles out of these. I had cut a piece off of this one right here, so it's going to be a little bit smaller than the other one. Now Dollar Tree does carry two different sizes. This one right here is like the thicker one. Since these are thicker, they're so much easier to work with. I'm going to add glue all around it until I finish the rope. And this is how it looks. Now I'm going to make the other one. Once I am finished rolling it, this is how it looks. As you can see, they are two different sizes. Now I'm going to make 3 more, but this time I'm going to use this Nautical rope that I had. Now this one right here is from Ross. I got it a while back. Dollar Tree does carry the regular Nautical rope. It's just a little bit thicker than this one. Now I'm going to repeat the same thing but making the circle, but this time I'm going to start by doing it in my hands, and then I'm going to put a dot of hot glue on the mat and then keep going around it. Using this sure bonder mat is so much easier because all I do is just add glue directly on the mat and real close to the Nautical rope, and I just keep rolling until I get to the size that I like, and then I just peel it off the mat. This is going to be a wall decor, so once I had all of my 5 circles, I then arranged them how I wanted them to go. There's so many different ways you can arrange them. You don't have to overlap them like I am, but I thought this looks so beautiful, so that's why I left them like this. Now once I had how I liked them, I then used one of these Dollar Tree foam boards. Now as you can see, mine's all painted, but I am going to recycle this, so I'm going to place them back how I had them, and then I'm going to use a pencil to trace around them. This is going to make it so much easier, so when I remove them I can place them back where they were. Now I started with one of the brown circles and I glued the first, and then I moved to the beige one, the one that's gonna go right next to it, and I decided to go to the last one on the right because this is going to be at the bottom. Then the other one's going to overlap it, the other beige circle, and then I'm going to add the smaller circle in the middle. Now once I had all of them glued, I then cut them. Well, I cut the board and I used a box cutter to cut this. Since it is foam board, you can't use scissors. I just couldn't find my bigger scissors. As you can see, my little pink scissors are there. Now to hang this, I am going to put some jute twine in the back. And that is it for this beautiful boho wall decor. It's definitely one of my favorite ones. I'm going to start off with this Dollar Tree decor sign. I love these because they already come with the frame. I am going to remove it though so I can stain them. I have seen others remove this so easily. Mine were like really glued. As I was removing the frame, the paper started tearing, so I just took the whole thing off. I'm going to use the back, so I did remove the hanger, and this hanger was with staples, so I had to remove those too. To paint the frame, I'm going to use the antique wax and some black paint. I'm going to make a little mixture. I do want the stain to be dark. I went back with a napkin to remove some paint off, and you can now see a lot of the texture of these frames, and I think it looks so pretty. While this is drying, I'm going to work on the calendar, and I'm using the 2021 Simply Blessed calendar from Dollar Tree. I will be using the month of August, or actually whatever's in the back of the month of August. This says Bless Our Nest. I did get this calendar sent to me by a sweet subscriber. I don't know if Dollar Tree is still carrying these, but the artist does have an Etsy. There is two ways you can put this, vertical or horizontal. They both fit the same. I'm going to do mine vertical. There's a little bit of extra paper on the sides, but I'm going to just press it down and it's gonna crease. And like that, I'm gonna know where I need to cut. Now to glue this, I will be using my Elmer's glue stick. After putting the frame, it didn't cover the hole at the top. It only did a little bit. So what I decided to do was just cut a piece of paper and glue it to the back. This is gonna work as a little patch. The next thing I will be doing is just gluing the sides back on. And I do measure the bottom one just so I know it's in the center. And you can leave it like this, but I decided to add some boxwood greenery. This pick is from Walmart. I am going to cut 2 stems off. I am also doing a bow using this beautiful burlap ribbon. This is from Dollar General. It was like $2. I know Dollar Tree carries burlap ribbon that you can use instead. I'm going to tie this, and I use a string long enough to where there is some extra, so like that I can add the boxwood greenery to the back. I'm doing the fishtail cut at the ends, and after that, that is it for this DIY. I think this turned out beautiful. You can add a hanger if you want to hang this. I just chose not to. For my next DIY, I will be using another Dollar Tree Valentine sign. I'm going to take this apart because I will be using the back of this sign, and I'm going to paint it using some white chalk paint. I just love these signs. They make anything look so high-end. I know Dollar Tree isn't carrying them anymore, but you can use any Dollar Tree sign instead. I changed the color of the frame using the Waverly Antique Wax. This DIY is inspired by Pinterest. I fell in love with the Easter Bunny sign that I seen, so I decided to recreate it. From Hobby Lobby, I will be using a buffalo check scrapbook paper. And for the little bunny, I will be using this cute little bunny that came in a Dollar Tree pack. Now that I'm looking at it, this buffalo check background with the pink bunny looks so cute. So that is another DIY you can do instead. Now I'm going to just trace the bunny on the back of the paper. When putting the frame back together, I like to start with the center pieces first and then the side pieces. Before I add the bunny to the front, I am going to flip the sign around. I wasn't able to remove the whole back, so I decided to just cover it using some construction paper. And now it looks so much better. Now to glue the bunny, I am going to use some glue stick. You can't use Mod Podge, but you guys know how I feel about Mod Podge. For the tail, I removed the pom-pom from the pink bunny and added to the new bunny. Now the last thing I did was just outline the bunny. This made it look more high-end and stand out more. And that is it for this DIY. I think it turned out beautiful and it was so easy to make. So excited when I found these window decors at Dollar Tree. I thought to just make this a little bit bigger, and to do that I am going to use 2 of these, and to one of them I'm going to remove the back just so it's easier for me to cut it. Plus I am going to use the backing on another project. So I'm going to start off by marking down almost to where it's starting to arc, and then I'm going to cut it. This is plastic, so it's very easy to cut through. I started to use my hand saw, but then it kept going crooked, so I stopped and then used my box cutter, and it still worked the same. So once I have that cut, I'm going to use the bottom of this, and I'm going to save the top for another project. I am also so excited to be using the Sure Bonder glue gun. They recently sent this to me, and oh my gosh, it is so nice and I love it. So now using hot glue, I'm going to glue this to the bottom of the other window decor. To make this sturdy, you can use E6000 or a heavier duty glue. I'm using some popsicle sticks and adding them to the back. I did have to cut these in half. I think it's called vertical. You know what I mean, just in order for them to fit. I'm going to now paint everything black, because even though the top part is black, it is like a different shade of black. And to paint this, I'm using the Waverly chalk paint in ink. I'm going to set this aside and let it dry. Now I'm going to work on the wreath I will be using in the front. And to do that, I will be using some boxwood greenery from Walmart and this wire jute cord that I got from Dollar Tree. I'm going to just use the jute cord as the wreath base. I'm going to start by making one circle, then I'm going to make another one, but with that I'm going to just twist it around the first one. Like that, there's going to be more surface to glue the greenery. Now for the greenery, I'm using this boxwood greenery. I'm just taking a little bit of the stems off, and then I'm going to start gluing them all around my wreath. I made a bow using some burlap ribbon and I added it to the bottom. Now to place this on my window, I am using these clear hooks from Dollar Tree. Since it's clear, I decided just to paint this black, like that it blends in more with the window. Now I'm going to just glue it to the top part, and then I'm going to add the wreath. And that is it for this art window. I think it turned out beautiful. The home sign from Dollar Tree, I will be using the Crafter's Square wood planks. One pack has 6 of them and I'm only using 5 for this one. I'm going to arrange them like one up and one down, one up and one down. I don't know if this is the correct way to say it, but that is how I'm going to do it. Now to glue these together, I'm using some Dollar Tree popsicle sticks. To paint the wood plank sign, I'm using the Waverly Antique Wax. Now you can paint this whatever color you like, but I love this Waverly Antiques color. It is my favorite one and I have been using it for a while now. To clean it out and making the drying process faster, I use a napkin to wipe some of it off. Now I'm going to use this home metal sign that I had from, I think, the fall. And I already used this before, but I like it using as a stencil. So I'm going to trace it, and then after I'm done tracing it, I'm going to paint over it using the white chalk paint. To decorate my sign, I will be using some of these floral picks that I got from Walmart. I got these last year. I got them for like really cheap. I'm not sure if it were 10 cents or 25 cents each. But of course, Dollar Tree carries so many other beautiful spring floral you can use instead. I will be only using one of the picks. I'm going to cut all of the stems off. And then I'm going to tie them using a piece of nautical rope. I'm sorry, not nautical, jute cord. I am using hot glue to glue the pick to my sign. To hang the sign, you can add a piece of jute string or nautical rope, but what I use is this sawtooth hook that I got from Lowe's. And to finish this off, I just added a cute little bow I made out of the Dollar Tree lace ribbon. And that is it for this DIY. I think it turned out beautiful and it's perfect for this spring. For my next DIY, I will be using 4 of the Dollar Tree 4x6 picture frames, 24 large jumbo popsicle sticks, and 4 of these bamboo sticks that I got from Amazon. I'm going to start by removing all the plastic and the inside of the picture frames. I'm only using the frames for this. I'm going to set these aside. I'm going to leave them the color they come in because it is already a pretty color. Now I will be using some large popsicle sticks. Now these large popsicle sticks are from Lowe's. 30 come in a pack for just $1. I'm going to paint them using some white chalk paint. Once they are dry, I'm going to cut 16 of them to the size of the inside of the picture frame. Once I had them all cut, I started to glue them, and I did use hot glue for this. I'm using 1 bamboo stick for each frame to make X's. Now when I cut these, I did cut them in an angle so like that they can fit in the picture frame. And I also did paint these using the Waverly chalk paint in the color Truffle. I'm going to glue the sticks using hot glue. Now I'm going to just do that to the rest of the picture frames. And this is how they look. The next thing I will be doing is just gluing all of these together. I am making a planter. Now I'm using hot glue for this, so I am going to add some Jenga blocks in the inside for extra support. Now the last thing I will be doing is adding a bottom to my planter. So I am going to use the rest of the popsicle sticks. Now I'm using 5 in total, but the 5th one I did have to cut it in half in order for it to fit. And that is it for this beautiful planter. I think it turned out beautiful. I will be starting with this Dollar General wood stake that I got for $1. It is 36 inches long. I am cutting 12 inches off, and I'm also cutting the little point at the top, just a little bit off. Now I'm going to glue this to this Dollar Tree wood square, and I'm using the Dollar Tree wood glue. I let this dry overnight, and this is how it looks the next day, all nice and sturdy. To paint this, I'm going to use a mixture of the Waverly Antique Wax, the black ink, and a little bit of water. And then I'm going to start painting this. Now before it dries, I am going to use a wet napkin to remove some of that paint. And I just love how this looks because you can see so much of the wood detail, and it looks so beautiful. I am also using this wood base, so I'm going to paint it the same color. Now the next things I will be using are 4 of these wood boxes from Dollar Tree. I'm going to remove the metal label holder from all 4 and then paint them. and I used a mixture of antique wax and a little bit of black paint. Once they were dry, I put the label thing back on. I then started to glue the boxes to my stand, and I'm using a little bit of hot glue and some wood glue. And I glued 2 on one side and 2 on the other side. As you can see, I left like 3 inches in between each box. I then let it dry overnight. Once it was dry, I glued the bead right on top. And now here comes the fun part. I'm going to decorate my planter. Now I'm going to use these 4 galvanized kitchen bowls that I got from Ross. 4 came in a pack and they were $3.99. Now Dollar Tree carries tons of different things you can use instead. As you can see, they fit perfectly in the little boxes. Now I'm going to just add different greenery to each bowl. All of these beautiful greenery picks are from Walmart. Now the last thing I will be doing is adding a label to each box, and I just printed this out in a regular printing paper. Now I did put love grows here, and since I had a 4th box, I just added some leaves and a little heart. And that is it, guys. This is the final look of this beautiful planter. Hello friends, for my project I will be starting with 4 Dollar Tree shovels. You can find these in the beach section. I'm going to start by removing the screws so I can remove the shovels or the little blades. Then I'm going to use this Dollar Tree mat to measure the top part because I do want to cut all of them in an angle, and I'm going to cut these using my handsaw. I'm going to set these aside because I want to show you the rest of the things I will be using, so like that I can paint them all together. So from Hobby Lobby I got these round wooden circles that were $4.99. 3 come in a pack. I will be using 2. And from Amazon I will be using some of these beads, to 20 mm. I will be mixing 2 different paints, the Waverly Antique Wax and the Waverly Chalk Paint and Elephant, and a little bit of water. I really love how this color turned out. You'll be able to see the color more once I remove some of the paint using a wet napkin. To paint the beads a lot faster and easier, I will be adding them all in a Ziploc bag, then I will be adding the paint. I love using this technique, it's so much easier. Once I have all the paints and the water in there, I'm going to just start playing around with them until all of the beads are covered in paint. Then I'm going to just put them on a tray and let them dry. And this is how everything looks painted. Now that everything's nice and dry, I'm going to assemble my little table. I use this square to trace it in the center, and this is where I'm going to add each leg on each corner. Now to glue this, I will be using the Sure Bonder wood glue sticks. To make my table more sturdy, I will be using my new toy. Is this electric glue gun, or it's not a glue gun, a stapler. It's a stapler and a nail gun, and I really love it. The next thing I will be doing is gluing all the beads all around, then glue the other circle right on top. And this is how the top looks. To make the shelf in the middle, I will be using this Dollar Tree 5x7 canvas. I removed the staples and the canvas. I'm only using the frame. I'm going to glue a puzzle box lid to the top, and then I'm going to paint it using the same colors I've been using. To glue this, I used the wood glue stick. I hold it in place for a couple of minutes until it dried. To finish this off, I used my Cricut to print out the word home. I will be adding it on the side, so like that you can still see it when I add the decor. And that is it for this DIY. I think this side table turned out beautiful. For my next DIY, I'm going to use one of these decor pieces from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to remove the little thing that has in the front. Then I'm going to paint it black, and I did end up painting like the front little square piece that it has in the front white because I was just gonna use it like that, but then I decided to use it differently. But all I needed to do was just paint the whole thing black. Then I'm going to use one of the little Dollar Tree little wood crate or wood box. I don't know what to call this, but these are new, and I'm going to just glue it on top of the black decor sign. The next thing I will be adding is a Dollar Tree bucket. I'm going to add it on top, but first I do end up adding this little sticker that I got from these stickers from Dollar Tree. The one I picked had home in the front, and all I did was just place it on top of that or inside the little tag part. And that is it, guys. The last thing I did was just add some boxwood greenery to the bucket. I think this turned out beautiful, and the best part is that you can use it all year round. For my next DIY, I'm going to use these wood boxes. Now I'm only using like the little inside boxes. They are a little bit smaller than the ones on the outside. Now mine are from Michael's. I got them for $1 each. They were on clearance, but Dollar Tree carries the exact same ones for just $1 also. So I'm going to start by gluing these together using hot glue. I decided to paint these white, but you can totally paint it whatever color you want. As you can see, I am making a beautiful planter. Now, once this is nice and dry, I'm going to add this home sign that I already had, which is also from the Dollar Tree. Now you can already leave it like this, but I decided to add some little handles on the sides, and I'm using the Dollar Tree leather ribbon. And that is it, guys. There is two ways you can add greenery to this. You can add 3 bases or just add them all inside to make it look like one, like I did. And I really hope you guys like this. Using 4 of the Dollar Tree bamboo cutting boards, 2 paint stir sticks, and this Dollar Tree pencil holder. I'm going to start by removing the plastic from all 4 of the bamboo cutting boards, and I'm going to line them up. Now I am going to make a space in between each one of them, and I'm using some dowels as spacers. Then I'm going to use the Dollar Tree wood glue and a little bit of hot glue to glue the paint stir sticks right on top. I'm going to remove the dowels and flip it around. And this is how it looks. Next, I'm going to paint the pencil holder using this white spray paint. And I'm going to paint the boards using the Waverly Antique Wax. I'm going to add a little bit of water, and then before it dries, I'm going to use a wet napkin and remove some of that paint just to make it a little bit lighter. And look how beautiful this color is. Now you can add whatever you want to the sign. What I'm adding is the word home, and I'm using these Hobby Lobby stickers that I already had. As you can see, I already used some of them, so I didn't have all the letters I needed. So what I decided to do is use the little sticker part as a stencil instead. So to do that, I'm going to cut them individual. Then I am going to remove the sticker part and place the letter in each board. I am only doing the H, M, and E. Once I had all the letters, then I started to paint them, and I'm using my Waverly chalk paint in white. Once I had finished, I just removed the stencil before it dried. That is because I didn't want it to get stuck to it. I then went ahead and finished the rest of the letters. Look how beautiful it's already looking. Now to finish this off, I'm going to add the little pencil holder, and this is going to work as the O. Now the best part about this DIY is that you can use this all year round by just switching the greenery. I felt that the pencil holder was too plain, so I decided to add some of the Dollar Tree leather ribbon and a tiny burlap bow. And that is it for this home decor sign. I think it turned out beautiful. Now to hang it to the wall, I did add some sawtooth hooks to the back. Right, I'm going to start with my favorite DIY. Now from Dollar Tree, I will be using 2 of these decor signs. I will be removing the stickers from the back and the sawtooth hooks. I will be making a large sign, so I'm going to glue these together, and I only use hot glue, so that's why I'm going to just drill 2 screws on the other side so it can be more sturdy. The next Dollar Tree item I will be using are these wood planks. Now I'm using 5 of them, 6 come in a pack, and I'm going to glue them right on top. And once again, I'm only using hot glue for this. Once I am done gluing them, I will be using my Waverly chalk paint, or actually not the chalk paint, the Waverly antique wax to paint this. I'm going to finish painting this, then I'm going to set it on the side and let it dry. Meanwhile, I'm going to work on this beautiful gather sign that I got from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to remove the tag, then I'm going to paint this using a vanilla color from the brand Craftsman. And I am making this more of a whitewash, so I'm going to just dot some of the paint here and there and then use a stipple paintbrush. And look how beautiful and farmhouse this looks. Now the next thing I will be doing is just gluing it on the sign, and I'm using some hot glue. To decorate my sign, I will be using this fall pick that I got from Hobby Lobby. I believe it's $3.99, but I got it on sale. So I am going to start by just cutting some berries and some leaves off because I am going to glue them to my sign. Now you can use whatever pick you like for this. I just really love this one. Dollar Tree does carry berry picks, but their berry picks are a little bit thicker and they're foam. This is like, I think, plastic. I'm not sure, but it is a different material. Now once I am done gluing some berries and leaves to the bottom, I am going to glue some on the top. And that is it for this gather sign. I think it turned out so beautiful. I just love the natural look to this. Alright, so for my next DIY, I will be using 2 different sizes of pumpkins. These I got them from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use a wood sign. I thought I was going to use that, but then I flipped it around and I noticed that it's one of where my son painted something, so I decided to keep it instead and use this circle one. I'm going to start by painting the wood circle using the Waverly antique wax. Then I'm going to paint the pumpkins. I'm going to start by removing the stem, and then I'm going to take this other velvet one apart. I remove the stem and the fabric. So once I had both of them, I started with the bigger pumpkin, which is the orange one, and I'm going to paint it using the Waverly chalk paint in the color white.
I just want you to know that I didn't throw your stuff away.
So I went over with the chalk paint first because I wanted to use this vanilla color, and this is an acrylic, so if I was to use the acrylic only, it would take me like 5 layers to cover the orange. So that's why I went over it with the white first, and then I went with the vanilla color, which it made the pumpkin look a little bit more like a cream color.
Before you make up your mind that I'm nowhere to find, I'm standing right here.
So my pumpkin doesn't look so flat. I am going to go over the details, and I mix a little bit of the vanilla with the antique wax, and then I went over them, and I think I added it way too much because I didn't like how it looks. So then I decided to go over it again with a little bit of the vanilla color and a different paintbrush, and I think this fixed it, and I think it looks so much better. I actually love how it turned out.
I know that I told you we're over. I swear that I'm sober. Just listen, I miss you. And I know that I said all these things, but
The other pumpkin, I will be painting it using the Waverly chalk paint in the color moss, and I'm going to repeat the same thing. Once I am done painting this, I'm going to mix a little bit of the moss with some white paint and then go over the details.
now when you're with her, I can see that you miss me. Would you stay till the morning light, or would you follow me, or would you let it?
Now that everything's dry, I'm going to put my topiary together. I'm going to start by gluing the bigger pumpkin first, and then I'm going to glue some of these leaves. Well, I didn't glue them. I actually put them through this little line that this pumpkin had, and then I'm going to glue the other pumpkin right on top of it.
If I leave tonight, we could do.
Once I am done doing that, I'm going to add the stem back to the pumpkin. And to finish this off, I'm going to add a jute twine bow. And that is it for this topiary pumpkin, which is absolutely stunning. I absolutely love how this turned out. For my next DIY, I'm going to use one of the Dollar Tree foam pumpkins. Now I did remove the stem and I made a hole in the center. The next thing I will be doing is painting it white using some white chalk paint, but I'm only painting half of it. I then went over it using the Waverly chalk paint in the color moss. Using the same paintbrush, I'm going to add a little bit of white to just highlight the details of the pumpkin to make it more realistic. The next thing I will be doing is just cutting the pumpkin in half. It's very easy to cut through. Now I'm going to glue this to a sign. The sign I will be using is from Walmart. This right here is almost like the one I use in my other DIY, but this one is rectangle, which cost me $5.97. So then the next thing I will be doing is just gluing the pumpkin to the bottom So as you can see, I'm going to use the pumpkin as a vase. Now to decorate this, I will be using some Walmart greenery and some Dollar Tree fall picks. The next thing I will be adding is a bow to the pumpkin. Now to finish this off, I am going to add something to my sign. And I'm going to add this thankful sign that I got from one of the little decor signs that I use for my centerpiece. And that is it for this decor sign. I think it turned out beautiful. It's actually my second favorite one. For my next DIY, I was going to use this Dollar Tree sign, but I had a really hard time removing the sticker that I decided to use this wood circle that I got from Amazon. I'll have the link down in the description box in case you want to go check them out. Now I'm going to just paint the center of this sign using white chalk paint. Once this is dry, I'm going to use the buffalo check paper that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to put this on the ends. So I'm going to just crease it and then cut them. Once I am done cutting them, I will be gluing them using the Elmer's glue stick.
Isn't this how it is supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories. Oh, and I've been longing to hold you close. Forget about everyone else. Isn't this how it is supposed to be? Making our Christmas.
This sign is inspired by something that I seen at Hobby Lobby. So I'm going to use these half beads that I got from Amazon. Once again, I'll have the link down in the description box in case you want to check them out. I'm going to just glue them across the right here with the white and the buffalo check me. I'm going to do that to both of the sides, and then I'm going to use the Dollar Tree poster sticker letters to put happy. I didn't have enough letters to put holidays, so I did use my Cricut Maker to And that is it for this happy holiday sign, which I think it turned out beautiful. It is my second favorite one. For the let us know sign, I will be using an 8x10 canvas that I got from Dollar Tree and this other Dollar Tree sign. As you can see, both of these are being reused. So what I did to the canvas is I removed the canvas part and the staples, and I did stain it or paint it using the Waverly Antique Wax. Now I'm going to just place this on top of the other sign and use a pen to trace it, and then I'm going to use a little X-Acto knife to cut this. This will be the back of my sign. After going over it a couple of times, all I did was bend it and it broke easily. Now I'm going to just use a sand sheet to smooth all the edges, which you really don't have to since this will be going in the back. Now I'm going to just use the white paint to paint it, and I'm using the strict motion or whitewash, something like that. I do want this to look washed out. Once it's dry, I will be using hot glue to glue this back piece to the frame. Now you can use wood glue or a E6000, whatever you prefer. Going to set this aside. Now I'm using the leftover snowflakes and these beads. These come from Walmart. I will be using 6 and they're all the same size, and I'm using this Dollar Tree jute twine. I'm going to just add the beads to the string. I will be cutting the string long enough to where I know it's going to fit inside the frame. Now before I add the string, I am going to drill some holes to the top of the frame, and I'm using my drill. Once I am done with that, I will be adding the string. Before I tie the strings at the top, I do want to make sure that when I spread the beads, there is going to be enough room where I can add a snowflake, and I will be using 5 snowflakes in total, and I'm going to glue them to the string. This project was also inspired by something I did a few weeks ago. I did a sign that said fresh cut Christmas trees, and instead of the snowflakes, they were Christmas trees. For the let us know, I did use my Cricut. Now you can use the transfer method I used in my first DIY. Now I'm going to just simply transfer this let us know to the sign, and that is going to be it for this beautiful let us know sign. And that is it, guys. Let me know down in the comment section which one was your favorite, because I would love to know. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, bye.